Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. The category this time was a finance book, and my choice was You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And in this book, she really talks about like your mindset, changing your mindset to change your wallet, basically. And one of the foods mentioned when she was living like in a makeshift garage, a makeshift apartment that was actually a garage rather, she was eating a lot of like ramen noodles and tuna fish sandwiches and peanut butter. So that's going to be our secret ingredient today. And it's a pretty simple recipe. I wanted to keep it simple. We're making peanut butter bread. I have never made this before, so I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out. And I'm going to have some special taste testers at the end, so stay tuned. So let's get started. So one of the points that Jen makes in this book is, you know, we're all told like work hard, work hard, work hard to make money. And yes, you should work hard at whatever you're doing, but you should also be taking risks. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people decide what, you know, career they want and they trudge along and they sometimes never get anywhere and their wallet never gets anywhere. Especially like for women, it's like, you know, pulling teeth to get a raise in anything. So you're going to have to take risks and push hard. And I just wanted to share a story about when I was moving from North Carolina to New York. I interviewed up here and I didn't quite get the job. It was like, okay, come back for a second interview. But I was done and I was ready to come back to New York. And so I just took it as I got the job. So when I moved back up here and went back in for my second interview, I asked for the woman who interviewed me before, who was going to be my boss. She had been fired. So I kind of just said, oh, well, she hired me. And I moved all the way from North Carolina to be here. And they found an office for me. And I started working there. And that's how I got my first job back in New York after college. So take risks. I'm not saying be a liar, but take risks. Another one of her biggest points is to give yourself permission to be happy and rich. Being rich doesn't mean that you're not a good person. You know, we hear all the time, you know, rich versus poor, or, you know, the rich keep getting richer. And like, we have all these mindsets of like people with money, but don't you want to be a person with money? It doesn't mean that you have to be a bad person, or, you know, that it has to go against your ideals, or, so just kind of change the way you look at money and what it can do for your life, and you'll start attracting it into your life. So that's one of her big points. Okay, but now we're gonna get started on this recipe before we talk any more about the book. So let's go. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is put in a cup of peanut butter, which is about half this jar right here. This actually might be a little more than a half, but whatever. It's peanut butter bread. You need peanut butter. All right, 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and it didn't say whether it should be packed or not, so I kind of sort of packed it, but not really. And I'm using dark brown sugar just because that's what I had in my cabinet. Okay, then you want to beat this with the hand mixer just until it's combined. So like for 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes it says. And I'm putting this on a 3. Okay, maybe a 1. Okay, so before we do the next step, I just wanted to give you a little more about the book. one of her biggest points is that, I'm quoting when I say, a healthy desire for wealth is not greed, it's a desire for life. That there are so many things, probably, that you want to do with your life and to do your accomplishments. And now look, we've all heard success stories of people who really have come from like nothing and have built themselves up. And that's amazing. But the way to do that is to change your mindset and to earn money to fuel your dreams. So don't think that you're going back to like being a bad person or anything because you're focusing on money. And I keep going back to, talking to women especially, because when we get, into our jobs and everything, we try to put our head down and we just keep going and we just take whatever little bit is thrown at us. But if you want more, you got to ask for more. So be vocal, be aggressive if you have to, take initiative, and don't feel bad about it. Okay, the next step is to beat in the 2 eggs. Okay, then we're going to add 3/4 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, it says to mix this briefly, so I'm going to put on low again. Okay, so the next ingredients we're going to add in while mixing with a spatula because we don't want to overmix it. 2 cups of flour. And you're not really going to mix it all in so that you can't see it anymore. You're going to see some white streaks of flour, some lumps, and that is perfectly all right according to the recipe. Okay, next up is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay. I can feel it getting thicker and thicker by the minute. Just hope my thighs don't follow suit. And last but not least, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And again, you don't want to mix too well. You want to have some lumps in there, but you just want to mix well enough to combine all the ingredients. Okay, we're going to spray our loaf pan. Okay, now it's time to pour it on in. Which is easier said than done with peanut butter. That this will taste better than those peanut butter sandwiches she was eating in that garage. But she told herself that she wanted to live in this beautiful neighborhood by the ocean. And everyone was telling her, you'll never find anything in that area for that price. And she did. And she turned a garage. She convinced someone to let her turn a garage into an apartment. And she got to live in the neighborhood she wanted to live in. So your dreams aren't going to look like everybody else's. And they're not going to be able to put yours together for you. So don't get mad at people for not being able to see your vision. They're not supposed to have your vision. You're supposed to have your vision. Show them how it works. That's my plan. Okay, that looks nice, right? That's good enough. Let me scrape this spatula. Waste not, want not. So I've already preheated the oven to 350. And we're going to put this in there for 48 to 52 minutes. Okay, so while that's in there, I'll finish giving you some takeaways from the book. So the biggest one is mastering your mindset. And that's watching how, first of all, how you talk about money and how you think about money. We already talked about not feeling guilty because you want money to fuel your dreams. Like, you're supposed to. It's okay. But also watch how you talk about money. Stop calling yourself poor. I've started referring to myself as pre-rich. So that was one of the biggest changes for me, is like to stop saying, oh, I'm poor, I'll never be able to go here or afford this vacation, or look at this house, I'll never have a house like this. Like, yes, I will. And now it's up to me to make it happen. But changing my mindset is the biggest part. Also, make a list of your desires and your purpose, your goals, everything. Like, have it actually written down so you have something to look back at and say, like, this is what I'm working for. Because there are going to be days when you're eating peanut butter out the jar for dinner. And I mean, I say that like it's a bad thing. It's delicious. But where, you know, that's all you have. And you got to be able to push through. And when you look at your goals and you say, okay, this is what I'm working for. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. It helps keep you in the game. And then she does delve a little bit into spirituality. She's, you know, basically saying whatever or whomever you pray to, she refers to it as the universe. I call him God. But basically use that to keep yourself centered and goal oriented, and to keep the faith alive, basically. Keep hope alive. Because when you hit those dark days, you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to say, I'm never going to get out of this cubicle. I'm never going to get out of this dead-end job. You're going to have those days where you feel like that. Keep going. Learn to center yourself in something. Oh, and for all you people out there that have already started your own business, I feel like this is a really big thing with like entrepreneurs being taken advantage of by family and friends. And sometimes you get mad, but first look at yourself. Is it you? Are you offering discounts to family and friends? And then you feel bitter at the end because you feel like you weren't paid for your time and services enough. Like, that's on you. Don't feel bad for saying, this is what it costs for me to do this for you. This is your livelihood. This is the business you're trying to grow. Don't feel bad about it. Tell them what you're worth. Ask them for it. And that's it. All right, guys. So this is what it looks like right now. It's got about 10 more minutes. And they said if you think it's browning too much on the top, or if you're worried about keeping in moisture, to tent it with some aluminum foil. So I think I might do that. And here is our finished product. Look at that. Hey guys, I'm back in my Halloween costume, my shark costume. I'll show you more of it later. But my special guests have arrived, and here they are. That's a blooper. Okay, Mom and Dad, introduce yourselves.
Hello, good morning. I'm Faye Gordon, Rhonda's mother.
And I'm embarrassed to say I'm Richard Gordon, Rhonda's father.
Now, I already showed them what we made. Did you see?
Yes, we took a picture of it.
Do you know what it is?
No idea.
It's peanut butter bread.
Oh, you're gonna like this.
Well,
So much.
so let me tell them. You're supposed to let it completely cool, but I didn't have time for that, so it came out in crumbles, kind of. Okay, and now we're going to see my parents' honest reaction to tasting the bread.
It smells good.
Okay.
Grace.
You can say grace if you want to. If you think it needs a prayer, you go right ahead.
Okay, just 1 second.
Okay. Amen.
Rescue me.
Oh my goodness. Got quiet.
Peanut butter. Well, I'll tell you, it's pretty good. I'm a peanut butter fan. This would go great with a cup of coffee, which our hostess didn't provide.
Oh, Lord.
But it's tasty.
Mom, you want some butter?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Now, what's your opinion on it?
That the flavor, the taste is good, but it seems a little dry.
Yeah, I tented it for the last 10 minutes because they said to do that if you're worried about moisture escaping. So
There go the cup of coffee.
So I'm going to take some to work for breakfast. So has this been a successful attempt?
This will carry us all the way back to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Glad you like it,
It's
sort
good.
of.
It's good. I think I'd prefer it warm. You said we should wait until it cools. I prefer it warm like this. This is because it has a good flavor and because it's breakfast time.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
All right. And the book that I was reviewing is it's called You're a Badass at Making Money. And it's supposed to teach you how to think rich and be rich.
Well, we hope you learned something from the book.
Me too. Okay. So,
Good
thanks
job.
for tuning in to another episode of Flavor and Fiction with my special guests.